The Christmas tree towered in my parents' living room, dripping with ornaments worth more than my first rocket prototype. The whole family gathered for their annual holiday tradition of comparing achievements and, in my case, failures. More eggnog, anyone? Mom offered, deliberately skipping my empty glass. Stephen, tell us about your new hedge fund clients. My brother straightened his designer tie. Managed to secure 3 billionaires this quarter. They're particularly interested in traditional aerospace investments. He smirked in my direction. You know, real space companies. I checked my phone discreetly, reading the latest update from Mission Control. The launch countdown was proceeding exactly as planned. Speaking of real companies, Uncle James chimed in, swirling his expensive bourbon. Still playing with your silly rockets, Alexandra? What do you call it, quantum something? Quantum aerospace, I corrected quietly, watching another notification pop up. The weather conditions were perfect. Quantum waste of time, more like it, my cousin Peter laughed. Remember when she blew up the garage with her experiments in high school? Aunt Margaret touched her pearl necklace. Such a shame. All that education at MIT, and what do you have to show for it? I checked the mission clock. T-minus 45 minutes. She could have joined my firm, Dad said, not looking at me. Real engineering work, building real things. Instead, she's burning through her inheritance on some pipe dream. Not exactly burning through it, I murmured, watching the live feed from the launch site on my phone. Oh. Stephen leaned forward. Finally ready to admit defeat and join the real world? I'm sure Dad could still find you a junior position. Mom brightened. That would be wonderful. No more of this space nonsense. Remember when she turned down that Boeing position? Boeing, Uncle James scoffed. Now there's a real aerospace company. Not some garage startup. Another message flashed. Final checks complete. Awaiting your go-ahead, CO. Actually, I started, but Aunt Margaret cut me off. Darling, it's time to grow up. Leave space to Elon Musk and NASA. You're becoming the family disappointment. I stood up, straightening my simple but expertly tailored suit. If you'll excuse me, I need to take this call. More imaginary rocket business? Peter sneered. Something like that, I said, stepping into the hallway as my phone buzzed again. Mission Control, this is Alexandra. Begin final launch sequence. I returned to the living room just as Stephen was regaling everyone with his latest yacht purchase. The television behind him was playing muted financial news, until it suddenly switched to breaking news with bold red graphics. Hey, who changed the channel? Stephen protested, reaching for the remote. I didn't, Uncle James said, his bourbon freezing halfway to his lips as he read the headline. Quantum aerospace makes history, revolutionary new propulsion system launches successfully. The room fell silent as the news anchor's voice filled the space. In a stunning development, Quantum Aerospace, led by 29-year-old CEO Alexandra Bennett, has just launched the first quantum-driven spacecraft, potentially revolutionizing space travel as we know it. That's got to be a different Alexandra, Mom stammered, her crystal glass shaking. My phone buzzed again. Mission successful, ma'am. All systems nominal. NASA representatives requesting immediate conference. Different Alexandra? I smiled, turning up the volume as footage of my spacecraft breaking through the atmosphere played on screen. No, that would be me. The one playing with silly rockets. Peter fumbled for his phone, his face going pale as he pulled up his stock trading app. The market. Quantum aerospace stock just jumped 3,000%. That garage startup you mocked? I said, watching the live feed of my quantum engine performing flawlessly. It just made history. Our propulsion system cuts interplanetary travel time by 60% while using 80% less fuel. Dad's face had turned ashen. But, the inheritance, you said you spent it all. I did, I confirmed, pulling up my company portfolio on my tablet. Every penny went into research and development, along with the venture capital I raised. $5 billion to be exact. $5 billion. Stephen choked on his eggnog. Another breaking news alert flashed across the screen. NASA announces exclusive contract with Quantum Aerospace, estimated value, $30 billion. $30 billion? Uncle James whispered, his bourbon entirely forgotten. That's just the beginning, I said as my phone lit up with messages from various space agencies worldwide. The European Space Agency is calling. Excuse me for a moment. Wait. Aunt Margaret called out. Those pearls you said you couldn't afford at the family auction last month. I touched the simple pendant at my neck. Well, I could afford them. I just preferred to invest in titanium alloys for our heat shields. Speaking of investments. I turned to Stephen. Those aerospace stocks you recommended to your billionaire clients? They're about to take quite a hit. Might want to warn them about obsolete technology. The TV continued its coverage. Experts are calling this the biggest breakthrough in space travel since the moon landing. Quantum Aerospace's market valuation is expected to exceed $100 billion by market opening. $100 billion? Mom collapsed onto the sofa. My phone buzzed again, this time with a message from the president's science advisor. Fascinating timing, I mused aloud. The White House wants to discuss the implications for national security. Should I take the call here, or would that spoil the Christmas spirit? 1 year later, I stood at the observation deck of Quantum Aerospace's new headquarters, watching the sunset reflect off our fleet of quantum-powered spacecraft. The building itself was a testament to how much had changed, a striking combination of Aerospace Innovation Center and Space Tourism Terminal. My phone buzzed with a familiar notification. Another family member trying to reach me through official channels. Your brother Stephen is in the lobby, my AI assistant reported. He's here for his third attempt at a project proposal pitch. Is it better than his last idea for luxury space yachts? I asked, reviewing the day's launch schedules. He's prepared a detailed presentation on sustainable orbital manufacturing. I smiled slightly. At least he's learning. Schedule him for tomorrow. The past year had transformed more than just the space industry. My family's dynamic had shifted as dramatically as our quantum engines had shifted the laws of propulsion. Dad had retired from his engineering firm, not by choice, but because his traditional approaches had become obsolete overnight. He now taught elementary school science, ironically finding more fulfillment explaining basic rocketry to children than he ever had building conventional engines. Mom had stopped planning charity galas and instead founded a STEM education program for girls, though she still couldn't quite meet my eyes when introducing me as her daughter, the space pioneer. Uncle James had sold his bourbon collection to invest in Quantum Aerospace stock. Too late, of course. The shares had already skyrocketed beyond his reach. He now gave lectures about missing obvious investment opportunities, using himself as the cautionary tale. My phone lit up with another message. Lunar Base Alpha construction ahead of schedule. First permanent residents ready for transport. The door opened and Peter shuffled in, now wearing a Quantum Aerospace employee badge. He'd started in the mailroom 6 months ago, insisting on earning his way up without family connections. The NASA delegation is here for the Mars mission briefing, he reported, his former smugness replaced by professional efficiency. Thank you, Peter. How's the night school going? He straightened proudly. Top of my aerospace engineering class. Though that's probably not impressive to someone who revolutionized physics. Everyone starts somewhere, I said, remembering that exploded garage. Even quantum mechanics began with basic chemistry experiments. My tablet chimed with breaking news. Quantum Aerospace announces first commercial flights to Moon, tourism industry transformed. Aunt Margaret had already booked a ticket, using her entire jewelry collection as collateral. The pearls she'd once flaunted at Christmas parties seemed less important now that space travel was the ultimate status symbol. Your mother called again, Peter mentioned carefully. About Christmas this year. I turned from the window where another quantum ship was preparing for launch. Let me guess, she wants to host it at the mansion? Actually, Peter smiled, she suggested having it here. In space. The whole family. She said it's time they saw your silly rockets up close. I checked the lunar station schedule. Tell her Christmas dinner will be served in zero gravity. And remind everyone that our dress code doesn't allow pearl necklaces in space. My phone buzzed one final time. Time Magazine Person of the Year photoshoot confirmed. Theme: the woman who changed the stars. Looking down at Earth from my office, I thought about that last Christmas, about all the dismissive laughs and mocking comments. They'd called me a disappointment for reaching for the stars. Now I owned them. Peter, I called as he turned to leave, about the family Christmas party? Tell Mom yes. It's time to show them what a garage startup can really do. And Peter, make sure Uncle James knows the bourbon has to stay on Earth. Some old traditions don't make it to space. The sun set over Earth one last time as another quantum ship broke atmosphere, carrying humanity's dreams higher than my family had ever imagined possible. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. And sometimes the sky isn't the limit. It's just the beginning. I stood at the observation deck of Quantum Aerospace's new headquarters, watching the sunset reflect off our fleet of quantum-powered spacecraft. The building itself was a testament to how much had changed, a striking combination of Aerospace Innovation Center and Space Tourism Terminal. The structure, designed by the world's leading sustainable architects, powered itself through a combination of solar arrays and our own quantum energy technology. The main atrium below buzzed with activity, engineers in quantum uniforms, International Space Agency representatives, and wide-eyed tour groups all moving with purpose. A far cry from those lonely days working in my garage, when my family thought I was just wasting time. My phone buzzed with a familiar notification. Another family member trying to reach me through official channels. The AI system I'd developed to manage communications had categorized this one as family, priority level 2. Not an emergency but persistent enough to note. Your brother Steven is in the lobby, my AI assistant reported, its quantum-processed voice perfectly modulated. He's here for his third attempt at a project proposal pitch. He's been waiting for 45 minutes and has reviewed the entire company portfolio on his tablet twice. Is it better than his last idea for luxury space yachts? I asked, reviewing the day's launch schedules. The holographic display showed 15 scheduled launches across 3 continents, each representing technology my family had once mocked as impossible. He's prepared a detailed presentation on sustainable orbital manufacturing. The proposal includes comprehensive research on zero-gravity metallurgy and its applications in quantum engine construction. I smiled. Steven once called my work pointless. At least he's learning, I said. Schedule him for 7 a.m. tomorrow. Let's see if he's serious. The past year changed more than space travel. Changed my family. Dad lost his engineering job when his company refused quantum tech. Now he teaches kids basic rocketry. Last week he asked me to speak at Space Week. I sent them a quantum engine instead. Mom stopped hosting charity galas. She now runs a STEM program for girls. She still avoids calling me her daughter, but her fundraisers now support women in aerospace, the career she once mocked. Uncle James sold his bourbon collection to buy quantum aerospace stock. Too late. He now lectures on missed opportunities, using himself as the example. His favorite slide is him laughing at my silly rockets, followed by our first quantum launch.